Yeah, so I'll be speaking on optic disc swelling. Am I missing something? So optic disc swelling is often an intimidating finding, especially when we see bilaterally. So I'll just take you through a few cases. Just go on. Go ahead. Yeah, so my first case is a 3-year-old male child who came with inward deviation of the right eye since the past 10 days, history of fever and cold for a day, no history of any systemic illness. On examination, there was no abnormal head posture. Hirschberg revealed 15-degree right esotropia, which was alternating well in all gazes. Extraocular motility was full and pupils were normal. Visual acuity was 2190 on TAC, anterior segment was normal. And this is how the disc appeared. It revealed a nasal elevation of the disc. So when we just look at the history, the squint evaluation and the disc which appears like this, it can often, confuse us as if there is something ominous. But just look at the next slide. So yeah, go on. So this patient had a cyclorefraction, which was revealing high hyperopia. And yeah, next. We did a B scan in this patient, which was pretty much normal. So this was a case of a, next slide. So this was a case of a congenital crowded disc in a case of high hyperopia with accommodative ET. So sometimes history can be very misleading. So it's very important for us to look at all the entities together. So congenital crowded disc, go on to the next slide, please. So congenital crowded disc, in that you see normal number of retinal axons. It is crowded, nervous smaller in size, hyperemic with absent physiological cup and associated with hyperopic eyes. So the case 2 is a 32-year-old female who presented with blurring of vision for the past few months, headache which was dull aching associated with nausea and vomiting, no other neurological symptoms and no systemic illness. On examination, visual acuity improved to 6.6 in both eyes. The pupils were normal. Color contrast was normal. Patient was orthotropic in all the gazes with extraocular motility being full. Anterior segment was normal. Next slide. So this is how the disc appeared. So you can see here that the disc looks smaller, hyperemic with blurred margins, and it can be very confusing, especially when it is associated with the history of headache. So we did a B scan in this patient and it showed, yeah, next slide, please. Hyperreflective structure. So this was a case of bilateral disc drusen. Next slide. Yeah. So generally we see scallop margins with spherical nodules, which can be very well seen on fundus autofluorescence. And B scan is definitely one of the diagnostic tests in optic nerve head drusen. So yeah, next slide. So typically these patients are asymptomatic and few can have visual field defects. Disc hemorrhages are associated when it causes any occlusion in the vessels. And some people can be at risk of peripapillary choroidal neovascular membrane. So there's no treatment required. However, an annual comprehensive evaluation is something that we can plan and educate the patient about the potential complications. So case 3 is a 28-year-old male patient who came with the complaints of frontal headache, increased screen time, no history of blurring of vision, nausea, vomiting, no history of any systemic illness or long-term medication. So visual acuity in this patient was 6.6 N6, pupils were normal, color contrast was normal, squint evaluation was orthotropic, anterior segment was normal, and the fundus appeared like this. So in the right eye, there is very subtle NFL fuzziness, whereas in the left eye, it is fairly bit more visible. So sometimes when we see these kind of subtle findings, many a times they can get missed and people can pass it off as a normal disc. However, a B scan definitely helps here. So in this case, the B scan revealed a crescent sign of subarachnoid fluid. Just click the, yeah. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so B scan can be very easily done in the OPD after installation of topical anesthetic. The probe is kept vertically oriented temporally on the globe as a patient to look in the primary position and look for the equilucent crescent of subarachnoid fluid. We can also measure the vertical and the horizontal diameter, as we can see in this video. Next slide. So visual fields in the right eye were normal. Left eye showed some superotemporal defect. We also ordered for, next slide. We also ordered for an MRI brain with MRV, which reflected enlarged optic nerve sheath diameter with perioptic CSF, and MRV was normal. Next slide. So neurology evaluation was normal and CSF opening pressure was 250 centimeters of water. CSF composition was normal. So this was a case of papilledema due to raised ICP in a case of IIH. Yeah. And we started on Diamox, 250 milligrams. Next slide. So IIH is a condition of unknown etiology predominantly seen in obese women of childbearing age. However, our patient was a male patient associated with signs and symptoms of raised ICP and essentially normal neuroimaging. Next slide. So the cutoff for CSF opening pressure is around 25 centimeters of water in adults and 28 centimeters of water in children with normal CSF constituents. It requires regular monitoring of disc edema along with visual fields to prevent any permanent vision loss. So treatment is with acetazolamide, which is the first line of drug along with weight loss. CSF shunting procedures can be reserved for non-resolving chronic papilledema with headache and optic nerve sheath decompression in vision-threatening papilledema. So my take-home message would be that B-scan, it's a simple tool and definitely helps in avoiding any doubts and confirming the diagnosis in a suspicious case of disc elevation. It reduces over-referral to the neurologist and also avoids any expensive neurological testing.